San Antonio Spurs, my number is 5. That is Dejounte Murray's jersey number. And I just want to give him some love here because I think the Spurs' overall struggles have sort of masked the attention that he should be getting for the improvement he's made this year. He's averaging 18.2 points, 8.3 rebounds, 8.9 assists, just 2.5 turnovers per game, albeit without the most efficient shooting. According to the NBA Math RPR MVP predictor, which factors in the lack of team success, Murray is at number 30 this season. If the All-Stars were chosen by this metric alone, which they shouldn't be,
and
he
they
would
expanded the roster to
and they expanded the roster. No, but even without a roster expansion, he would be the first injury replacement in the Western Conference, which I think puts into. I had that. I swear, I had that written down even before our conversations.
That is so unbelievably on brand. Go ahead.
There's a theme for this podcast. No, but I think like just the fact that he's at number 30 with the team success or lack thereof working against him, the fact that he would be the first injury replacement in the Western Conference by this metric, it speaks volumes about how much his stock should be rising. Like this is a guy who I think should at least be in the mix for one of the 30 best players in basketball right now. He's not going to feature in that conversation as much because the Spurs haven't been able to excel. They've had so many different lineup combinations, probably more so than even the teams most affected by the pandemic, as they try to bring in new younger players, try to figure out what they have. They go to work without like a truly established veteran star. And he's becoming that guy where the game has clearly slowed down for him. The passing strides that he's made in the half court set in particular are phenomenal. It feels like he has a better understanding of how to be the engine that makes the Spurs offense at least attempt to go.
He's been great this season. I think you could still harp on. He probably could be more efficient as a scorer, but to have just that
not a great shooter yet
level to his game. And I don't think at this point we just have to figure he'll never be that guy. Maybe it's different, but I sort of wonder if he would be a lot better if he got to play a role independent of Derek White totally. And those two players just seem like there's too much overlap in both their skills, like their strengths and their weaknesses, that they might be better off in higher, not just having their minutes staggered, but just untethered from one another completely. And we saw San Antonio basically try and do that until this season, which is why I think that maybe Derek White should be on the chopping block, and not just because I want there to be an active trade deadline.
Going into this season, you and I had an argument about which team had the fewest future All-Stars on the roster. And the Spurs were my pick, like even beyond the Orlando Magic, the Houston Rockets, the Oklahoma City Thunder, because I really didn't think that anyone on this roster had that kind of upside. Like when your leading candidates were Derek White, Dejounte Murray, and Keldon Johnson, that's enough said right there. But I do think that Murray has worked himself into that conversation where the Spurs pretty clearly have one guy who most likely will represent the Western Conference at some point in his career.
My follow-up stat for the Spurs is upteenth, and that is the amount of wiggle that there is in Josh Primo's game when he has the ball in his hands.
So you've got a times infinity and an upteenth in there, and I like the numbers you're throwing out here.
I appreciate that. My number
this is some advanced mathematics.